Welcome back, party people. We're at the Fortress of Solitude right now. Pretty pretty cool place. I hope you enjoy the background. Um, you can also notice the new haircut or lack thereof. My hair's getting really long, so I'm just deciding to slick it back with a headset instead of let it, hang right underneath my eyes. Um, you know, we're not trying to go regress back to that COVID era cut that I had. Um, Good times though. I come with you or to you with an important topic today. I'm kind of flying off the seat of my pants here. I don't have a script or anything, but I've talked about this with like two people maybe. And so this is kind of a recap, or you could even skip forward to the current news regarding this event. But essentially, I have this group project I have to do for a major grade in one of my classes. And so that started about a month and a half ago or so. And yeah, so I just chose to do it with the person next to me because they asked me, and I had no suspicion that things would go awry like the way it did. And I didn't really know anyone in that class, anyways, so it's not like I was planning on doing it with anyone else. So initially, when we started the project, things were going pretty okay. I really noticed that they got their work, the part that they had to do done quickly, or like, because it's kind of weird. It was like we're supposed to write some shit together and like do a presentation together, but it's hard to like write stuff with another person for a project. Like usually you separate into chunks, but like it's hard to integrate your writing with other people, right? So um they just sent over some stuff that they did, like some paragraphs, and then they just asked me to add some shit and like edit it and stuff, and I was like, okay, sure. So this initial thing is like 750 words, I think, was supposed to be the total. So it's like really slight. It's supposed to just be a brief explanation of what we want to explore with our essay. I'm not going to get too into the nitty gritty with the essay. I'm not dying to share that. But so they send that over, and then I look over it, and I have no idea how this person writes. Right, this is my first impression. I don't really even know them that well in the class. I didn't even I haven't even held a single conversation with them really. So I look at the writing and it looks kind of weird. It looks kind of disjointed and shit. And um, and so I don't initially suspect that they're using AI, but it it might just be the way they write, right? So after some thinking, I was like, I'll cleanse my mind of these ideas and I'll just throw it into an AI checker just to make sure. And throw it in, and I think I got around like a 30 to 40% uh, like reading. I don't know how the site does it, whether it's like that much percent is written by AI or that's like the suspicion level. But regardless, I looked at the result and I was like, it could be partially written by AI, but as long as they're adding their own shit into it and making it so it's not blatant that they're using AI, like I could care less. As long as there's some human input here. And so, I do my magic on it. I throw some editing things here and there, and then I add my own stuff, and we just ship it. And along with that, um, in class, he sprung a surprise like mini presentation, like 5 minutes of what we wrote about, and heavens to Betsy, my partner. I found out this like later, but like they AI generated the entire thing. I don't know why the site had a reading of like 40%, because in class presentation, right? He calls on us, and I start it, right. I start talking for like 30 seconds to a minute, and I look at my partner and I'm like, oh yeah, you want to pick it up from here? And then the whole class is silent for like 5 seconds, right? It was really awkward, because I didn't want to talk the entire time. It's a group project, and I figured they'd know what they're writing about. And so, I'm just looking at them. They're like, sure, and they send some like random ass one sentence answer, and then they go quiet again. And it had nothing to do with what I was saying and nothing to do with our paper really. It was just more like a verbal vomit, right? Like just straight puke coming from their mouth. And they just go quiet again. So I have to pick it up from there and just start yapping again for the rest of like the 3 minutes that we had. Not really fun, right? When you're doing all the work, all the presenting, because I hate presenting. And I'll get into this later, but I'm an introvert, right? I'm not an extrovert. I don't know if that's obvious or anything, but not my speed, right? Not my speed. So yeah, it looks so weird that sideburns. I just realized I always rock sideburns. Um, it's fine, it's whatever. I really could care less. The topic's more important at this point. So we get through that, right? And then the teacher starts asking questions about our stuff. And wouldn't you believe it? I'm the only one that has to answer because she's just sitting there quietly. And every time he asks something, she'll just sit there. She doesn't even jump to respond or anything, even though I hard carried the presentation. And I don't think she answered a single thing. And at the end, I think my teacher asked a question directed at her, like, "What do you think about this?" Because she wasn't answering anything else. So I did all of that, right? Okay. So, we're not working with much here. And so we go to the presentation, right? And so she sends over the slides, and I can immediately tell their chat or chat GPT generator, whatever AI, Gemini, whatever you fancy. Because it's the presentation she sent over, she sent it over in a timely manner at least, so she's not like procrastinating her AI use, which I think you don't get a pat on the back, but you get like a little head nod. At least you're not suffering in all aspects of your academics. So she sent it over, and it's just blank background, and then it's just text, just Arial text, was written on 5 different slides because we had a limit of 5 slides or a maximum of 5 slides. Um, and so boom, like it's AI. It's obviously AI written because it has little like flow. It's like not smooth at all. And so I slave away. I fix it up. I add some images because what's the point of having a slideshow if you're not gonna have images? You might as well just read off a script. And so I fancied it up a little and got it ready for the presentation day. And we were presenting on the first day. I didn't know this at the time, but I was gearing up to present. Right, I was getting ready to present on any of the days that he allotted. So the day before, right, I finished up with it, and then I send it, or I tell her like, oh yeah, I'm done. I send it back to her, and she wanted this to happen so she could like practice with herself, like just speaking in the mirror. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Um, and so I sent her the finished product. Turns out she just wanted it so she could chat GPT a script. And so she sends me an email with a Google Doc, and it says script, right? And in the script, it's just the most chunky paragraphs you can ever imagine. ChatGPT generated for each slide, right? And so there's 5 just paragraph, like enormous paragraphs. I think it'd probably take a person speaking at a normal pace, probably slower than what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to speed it up, not to take too long. It'd probably take them like 3 minutes of just talking to get through it. And mind you, we have 5 slides for 10 minutes, so it's about 2 minutes on each slide. So we're already going over with that, not including the shit that I put on the slides that I wanted to talk about, or that we should talk about. Not even me, just we should talk about. Okay, so you know, I already knew it was going to be a shitty presentation because she's going to rely on the script that she generated, right? So she's going to read out word for word what she generated because why would you memorize anything or remember a little bit of what you're going to present, right? I thought you were going to practice, right? Wouldn't you kind of like remember what you're going to say? No, I doubted that she was, and I think she was just going to read off the script, and so I already knew that was going to happen. So with my ultimately, insane wisdom, I just practiced the entire presentation as if like I was presenting by myself to be ready to present any slides that she would fail at. Okay, so I, I go through it multiple times the day of. I get a pretty good sense around 10 minutes. I'm trying to aim for, and yeah, so I'm prepared, right? Oh, I didn't even mention on the script Google Doc below it, she chat GBT 19 questions that the audience might answer. She asked ChatGPT probably. She's like showed them like or essay or whatever, and ChatGPT, what's 19 questions or what's some questions that the audience might ask us, and she had answers to each every one of them that were like 3 or 4 sentences long, and one of them was like we're talking about the Liberty Bell here, so one of them was just literally just um what is Liberty Bell made out of? What is the Liberty Bell? It's like basic stuff, right? That has little bearing to our actual topic that we're discussing, because it's not just the Liberty Bell, right? It's its significance as a monument and its evolving meanings throughout American history. Like it's deeper than just what is it made out of. Like, and do you really think like an average student in the class is going to ask that like genuinely, like they care, they give a shit about what the Liberty Bell is made out of? No, no, they wouldn't. But she's prepared. She's like Doctor Strange, like going through all the multiverses, figuring out like what what uh what answers she needs for the questions, the potential questions. Ooh, that she's supposed to know about because she's writing about this topic, right? It's astounding that she doesn't realize that she should be knowing this in the first place if she was doing research and writing the paper herself. Okay. Anyways, that's an aside. We get to presentation day, right? And we get called up, and I'm already dreading it, right? Because I hate presentations. I sweat bullets before, I sweat bullets during, I sweat bullets after. All right, I literally melt. I think there's a few times where I've ever sweat like from my brow or like this region of my forehead. Like I could feel sweat just beating up at the top, which doesn't even happen to me really. Usually it's just like, not there. So that's how you know it's like some like serious shit for me. Um, and so I hate presenting, but I will lock in if the moment needs me to, because I'm a good, teammate. Like I'll step up to the plate. And so we get up there, I pull it up on the computer, and she starts, and I was surprised. I was like, okay, go get him. She's starting for us. So she starts with the intro slide, and the intro slide also had shit on it because the 5 slide limit is very, limiting. So we had to put some information on there as well. And so she gets to the basic ask stuff like what our presentation's about, what our names are, whatever. Um, excuse me. um, and so she goes to her script, and I'm already dreading this moment, but you got to roll with it. And so she's reading her script, right? And for a good 20 seconds, the most unintelligible, nonsensical shit just flies out of her mouth. And I'm not talking like word wise. I'm just talking like tone wise. Like you could not understand her. It was indiscernible. The script was in front of me. I couldn't even understand what she was saying, and I had the script in front of me, right? And that's how you know. That's how you know that you're just like you're not going to do any of the work on the project. You're going to AI, generate everything, every aspect of the project, and then you're not even going to present, or you're going to suck at presenting, and then drag a grade down. Pick a struggle, bro. I don't. If you helped out with the main part of the project, I wouldn't mind if you're sucking at presenting. I suck at presenting. I stutter. I pitch my voice up a little bit. I get nervous. I'm not that bad. I've heard you talk in class, by the way. You don't sound like that. So what's the difference? I think it's because she was literally just monotonely reading out the text. It sounded like if you want a comparison, right? It sounded like if a drunk person blacked out and was mumbling in their sleep. That's literally what it sounded like. And after 20 seconds, my teacher speaks up, all right, and he's like, "Oh, we can't understand you. Could you maybe talk towards the class a bit more, um, and and then I'm feeling the most firsthand embarrassment for even standing up here in the first place. This is my project. I feel really embarrassed, and secondhand embarrassment for her. All right, so we're doing a little fusion dance with our embarrassments here. Um, so that's awesome. Love to see that. And then she freezes up. Right, she I guess it got to her or something. So she freezes up, and I have to take the reins from there. What good thing I practiced, right? If I didn't practice, oh, an aside again. I asked her, right, after she sent the slides, I was like, how do you want to present? I think we should just alternate slides, right? That makes sense. Because I'll even take the more slides. Like, I was totally not against the idea of taking more slides. I'll do 3, you do 2. Bang, we just bang it out. That's what most groups did, as a matter of fact. Every group did it besides ours. Or, we did 2 in the end, but she sent a text message back saying, I think I want to read off the slides and you can elaborate on what the slides say. This is before chat generated this script, by the way. But you're telling me you want to just read off the slides and then you expect me to elaborate on everything? How is that even going to flow? You say something, I say something, you say something, I say no. You do a little work, I do all the work. You do a little work, I do all the work. This is coming from the person that AI generated all of their shit for this project in the first place. Lazy bones, perezosa. All right, that's what we call them. Okay, so that's great and all, right? That's fantastic. Um, anyways, yeah, going back. So I start I clutch the reins. I start giddy up. I start start pulling the presentation in and towards, like a I'm losing my train of thought. I'm saving the presentation. Okay, the teacher's giving a few nods of approval. The class doesn't look as confused. So then the next slide comes, and I stop talking because I expect her to present it. And all she does is she just looks at the slide, or we had a screen in front of us, right? And then the projector. So she just looks in front of us, and she just reads off in the most monotone voice, still maybe a bit more discernible, but still very hard to hear. She just reads it off what's on the slide, and then she just goes to the next one. Awesome. So we're supposed to spend around 2 minutes on each slide, and you're spending like 15 seconds reading out the shit and then going to the next one. And so your boy has another major clutch up, and I just start just yapping again about her topic on the next slide. Kind of point the images and shit. And then we go to the last slide. She reads it out monotonely again, and then I had to pad out for time. Right, we're supposed to do 10 minutes. Like that's the limit, also the goal. And so I start, yapping about shit on the last slide as well. So we do a little tag team there where we actually did what she suggested, where she reads off the text on the slide and I actually elaborate. Great. We got through the presentation. Pitiful applause, and the teacher's like, yeah, yeah, and he asks us some questions, and you know, guess who had to answer most of them? oh, oh, you're so smart. Um, yeah, so I had to answer most of the questions that were relevant to our topic because she didn't know shit about our topic, and she just didn't talk all that much again. And again, the teacher had to ask her a direct question. She said, "You," I'm not gonna like say her name, whatever, but he was like, "You," or he didn't say it like that, but like he was like, "You, could you answer my question about this?" And then she talks about some random thing that was never even relevant to our topic in the first place, and the teacher treats it like it's some miracle. Not the fact that she answered, but the fact that like her answer was that good. The glaze is unreal. It's so unearned and it's so unreal. It crushed my soul seeing that. Um, and so near the end, he was giving some critique, and he was like, "You guys have like a different personality thing going on, and I think like you should try to work together better." And this teacher's really nice, by the way. I don't have anything against this. Well, I have some grievances, but overall, he's a really nice teacher. But we have some personality differences. You mean I actually care about my academics, and I'm willing to type out some shit, and she does not care at all. She's super lazy, and she chat GPTs everything in her life. That's the personality difference. I'm also an introvert. I'm also shy. That her not, doing nothing for the project is not a personality. Now he doesn't know all this shit because I'm not gonna tattletale, right? Um, and God forbid he'll ever find this YouTube video. And there's no way. So you know, all this is to say, the fact that he called it a personality difference just made me a bit upset. Okay, and it's not even his fault. It's just, well, it kind of is, because like you saw how she's presenting, right? You could barely understand her. This is not a me. This is not a personality difference. This is not a clashing in teamwork. This is just her being unable to present. And this is being said and done before I'm actually procrastinating right now, writing the rest of the essay. Oh, we'll get there, but I'm sorry this is being so long, by the way, but I need to air all this out, all right? So you can listen for however long you want. I don't even care. I just need to get this out there in the public domain. Um, and so I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Anyways, presentation's over with. Okay, none of the questions that she had generated, by the way, or ever came up. Right, none of that shit came up. So it was kind of a waste of time, waste of water, waste of resources. All that good stuff. Um, And so yeah, we got through that uh, by the skin of our teeth, I guess. And I'm not looking forward to present with her again. Oh, that's what I was getting to. We're gonna have to present another 10-minute presentation that's supposed to be more fleshed out. Yeah, God bless my soul, bro. God bless my soul. There's absolutely no universe where she does not fumble like she did before, and I'm at the clutch up again. But it's whatever, right? I'm kind of just throwing caution to the wind at this point. I do not care. I really do not care. I will just try my best, and if my best is not good enough, then fuck it. It's not my problem anymore. It's genuinely not. Okay, so now we're at nowadays. That was all recap for the two people that I told about. That was all recap. Now we're in the modern days, okay? And we're more refined with our AI usage now. So now is the actual paper, right? That was just a little baby warm up with the 750 words. We're going to 8 to 10 pages now. We have to get our sources and shit done. Let's take a look see at what. So I took out all the pertinent information like that's important. I'm not gonna like dox them or whatever, like their name. But I will. I will show you what they wrote. Or that's one thing. When they sent me over this paper, right? They sent like, oh, I typed out around 5 pages, or I wrote around 5 pages of it, and if you could do the rest, that'd be great. Did you really write it? Did you really type it out? Because I don't think so. I know you didn't, actually, as a matter of fact. I know for a fact you didn't type it out. So the gall, the audacity to say, you didn't even say I did. You said I wrote out 5 pages. Yeah, be for fucking real. The audacity to say something like that is disgusting. And I rolled my eyes internally when I heard that. Because she also told me in person. We had to meet up for some homework thing in person too. But all of that to say, you did not type out a single fucking thing on this thing. Besides the AI generated prompt and maybe like I don't know. Okay. So this is very hard to see right now. I don't know. I guess I could make it bigger. Ooh, I'm not used to this. Okay. I hope this is legible somewhat. If it's not, don't worry. It's not really important. Here, let me just. Okay. This is big. Yeah. Here we go. Okay. So we're writing about the Liberty Bell. This is my shit, by the way. This is what real writing looks like. Oh, there. Point there. Um. Okay. So, and then here is where it starts. Here's where the good AI stuff starts. So I just want to go over some brief keystones here that I wanted to discuss. Starting with the first sentence. American history has achieved the symbolic power of the Liberty Bell. What does that mean? No, genuinely, what does that mean? American history has achieved the symbolic power of the Liberty. It's just, it's just verbal, like, 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 puke. It's just, it's just throw up. Like it doesn't even make fucking sense. If someone read that, they're gonna be like, either this is AI generated, or this person thinks they're the next Einstein or Aristotle, or whatever philosopher. Because what does that even mean? It doesn't mean anything. All right, so we're gonna go through a bit more. And you think like the whole idea that they think I'm stupid enough to think that they wrote this out is astounding. Is this like some like cartoon like kids channel like villain thinking where it's so obvious that they chat GPT this, but they think I'm not smart enough to know, which is insulting. It's like a spit in the face. I think I'm more insulted by that than the fact that they can't present and did all this. But like the fact that they think I'm stupid enough, and frankly, the teacher is stupid enough or professor, um, to think that this isn't AI generated is astounding. It's really astounding. Like, do you think I'm that stupid? Genuinely, I'm not a narcissistic person, but if you're insinuating that I'm this unintelligent, you have another thing coming to you. Anyways, we're supposed to be writing a formal paper, and we're already throwing out some paragraphs that are what is that, like 3 sentences long? Wait, is that two? No, three. Okay, 3 sentences long. And there's a bunch of just irrelevant shit that's going on in this paper as well that has no bearing on our topic. It's just kind of just fodder, which ChatGPT likes to do. They like to throw in like random information in here and there to pad it out. Um, and so there's just a lot of tiny ass paragraphs. And I know that you know sometimes people do little paragraphs and ask them to edit or add on to them, but this is just like you can't even divide up the essay at this point. It's just literally just tiny ass paragraph after tiny ass paragraph after tiny ass paragraph. Like, how do you want me? Do you want me to go through each one and then add on my own shit each one? No, fuck you. No, no. All right. Anyways, um, yeah. So that's there's that. Okay, we're excited. Not even a website. I know. I know you did not pick up a fucking book because you're doing as little work as possible. I don't even know where you got the citation from because it wasn't even a source we used in our original like 750 words. God knows. So I'm gonna show you my appendices, like our figures that we used in our previous 750 word that I had to add in manually because they didn't add in this. even though we used it in our 750 word, and it's perfectly fine. Here's a photograph of the Liberty Bell. Great. Here's a photograph of the writing on it. Proclaim liberty to throw all into the land. Literally forgot what does it say. Throughout all the land until all the or whatever. Okay. See, that's kind of important, right? Because we talk about that. I memorized it for the presentation. I'm sorry, I'm a little washed. Now, that's the two-step I had to copy paste myself, even though they were starting on this thing. All right. So let me just shrink this up real quick because we got some awesome shit ahead of us that I'm sure you won't want to miss. Okay. Let me just my first time resizing shit on this glorious OBS thing. Okay. First one. Timeline of Symbolic Reinterpretations. Great title, honestly. I couldn't formulate a better one. Also, I wanted to say there's a discrepancy in the text they wrote because the initial thing says 7051 and they also have 7052. Make up your mind. ChatGPT, make up your mind. You can't just put fucking both dates, 751 and 752. Give me a break. And so we're going with 752, even though the real date is 751. You would know if you did a modicum of research or used any of the websites I offered. So yeah, we're already starting off with a bad slate. I don't know why my cursor's not appearing, but you're gonna have to bear with me here. All right, so do you see the issue with this timeline? I don't think I need to explain it to you, but there's some real hoo-ha going on here. So it's not evenly spaced out at all. It's not even remotely scaled, right? One of the dates is just a time period. Sure, sure. The Revolutionary Association is also a time period, but I guess we don't need that. And the bottom ones don't even need numbers. No, they don't even need years, right? We can just stick the labels on, and the top ones don't even need words. They don't even need labels. We'll just stick numbers there and assume that the public knows what's going on here. This is such a bad timeline, and it's ChatGPT, of course, so of course it's going to be awful. But the captions they put under it explain what each number is and like what the years are for the bottom stuff. They are so lazy that they won't even take 5 minutes out of their day to make a timeline that's legible. 5 minutes. They're making me write hours worth of shit for this essay. But no, I can spare 5 minutes to make an actual figure. I have to ChatGPT it. No credits, by the way. They're just gonna claim responsibility for this amalgamation of a timeline, which I will be removing myself because I'm not. This is just awful. This is not even remotely useful for the audience. We're already giving them the dates to work with. I don't know what this even represents for our paper. Anyways, this is the least offensive of it, I think. Or no, I know. I don't know how, but I didn't really order them in the right thing, but this is the least offensive one because the other two are absolutely appalling. Okay, this is the best that it gets, and if this already looks shit, then we're going down another level. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, so image gallery of Liberty Bell and representations, and all of these are gonna be ChatGPT generated, by the way, or whatever AI generated. Let's see. Let's go picture by picture. So the first one, early depictions of the Independence Hill or Hall. It's supposed to say Hall, but it's HLL. We don't care about spelling right here, right? We don't care about that at all. And the picture shows just a bell that's just floating magically in a random ass window. Ah, early depictions, eh? Not 2025 generated by an AI, right? Just an early depiction of good old Liberty Bell. Just hang in there. Before it was cracked, by the way, but it seems to have a little crack in it. I'm not a professor or anything, but I'm pretty sure that was before the Liberty Bell got cracked, so I don't know why it's floating, magically in a windowsill, but maybe the next picture will help. Abolitionist pamphlets. And it just says, Liberty, a nation's cry for freedom. Could have fooled me. It looks straight ripped out of a abolitionist pamphlet, if I do say so myself. Mind you, which pamphlet did you actually take that from? Oh no, it's ChatGPT generated. Oh, that makes more sense. Cause yeah, yeah, okay. Sorry I even asked. Honestly, I should have assumed that it was just AI generated, and the professor won't have any questions about where we got this from because it's not in the caption, right? We just happened upon it. Yeah, no credit needed. Do you understand how just absolutely disgusting, or like how just awful this behavior is that they're pushing on to this project? They think they can chat, and honestly, on our 750 word one, I didn't catch, but they did ChatGPT something, and it went under my radar, and so we submitted that. But no, it didn't look as bad. It did not look nearly as bad. Moving on, World Fair display. Its display has an I, not an E, and also the S and P are overlaid with each other. 1893. Now that Jesus is so weird to, yeah, whatever. We don't even talk about it in our paper. I didn't even know why this came up. I think you just asked ChatGPT, what's four different uh, artistic demonstrations you can do for Liberty Bell? Or some shit like that, because we didn't even talk about that. I don't even know where the idea for that came from. And again, it's just magically floating. There's no support beams. There's nothing it's hanging from. No, it's just magically floating. Sure, yeah, we'll just throw it in there for fun, for shits and giggles. Now the last one, it's plausible to think that it's AI generated, but it looks kind of real. I don't. Here, I'll just move to the side real quick. It looks kind of real, does it not? I may be tripping. Um, but it looks kind of real. So I don't know. Uh, but yeah, it says photographs. It's only a single photograph. You could just say modern day Liberty Bell or some shit. But that was the best one out of the four for sure. Um, so yeah, I'm very unenthused about this usage of AI, particularly this one. But the last one's a doozy. Now, I guess I did say best for last. I know this is getting abhorrently long, but I you just need to see this. This is the reason I decided to make this in the first place, because this is hands down the worst, just absolutely the worst. And I wish I was making this up, but I've already discussed the whole background, the whole prologue to this saga. And if you don't believe me, sure, all the power to you. But I would not be going out of my way to make all of this shit up. I'd rather be writing an essay right now instead of ChatGPTing it and pretending all this. No, this last thing looks fake, but I assure you it is so real. Okay, so this. Okay, sorry, my OBS froze for a second. This quite literally looks like a spot the difference map. Okay, so let's go through it. Map of the Liberty Bell's 19th century tour routes. Okay, good title. Expresses what it's about. All right, so we got San Francisco, Philadelphia, Chicago, New Orleans, and New Orleans. Okay, so let's go through all the errors on this shitty ass map that we were planning, or she was planning on turning in for our final paper for this class. The red line doesn't even touch San Francisco. I don't even know what bearing San Francisco has here, because it's assumed that it would go to San Francisco. San Francisco if it's labeled, but no, the red line doesn't even touch it. There's a New Orleans. There's two New Orleans for some goddamn reason. One of them is in the fucking Gulf of Mexico, or I guess that's where Mexico's supposed to be. But whatever. Mexico, Gulf of Mexico, what have you. That passed by the radar, I guess. And Philadelphia is on the right bottom of Pennsylvania, so it's not even the right spot. Chicago is in the top right of Illinois, not the bottom left. And it's spelled wrong. There's no H. And then the New Orleans doesn't even have a dot that's on America. And it's just huge, and it's overlapping all across Texas, making it look like it's across Texas. And yeah, San Francisco doesn't even have a dot, right? It's just a random label. And my partner, my teammate for this project, thought that this was an okay thing to submit for our paper. This is a university, right? This is a university. We are being taught by a professor. This is not 7th grade. My grade hinges on this. and we are submitting the most deplorable use of AI image generation I have ever seen in my life. Are we serious? Do you exist on the same plane as me? The same plane of existence? Because I have a high suspicion that you do not exist on the same plane of existence as me. There's just absolutely no way. Because what you're doing right now is jeopardizing my education. And I don't even want to sound like a nerd about this, but genuinely, if the teacher found out, right, that this paper had AI, I'd be implicated in it, right? Because I'm an offender. I could say all I want. Oh, I didn't know. But at the end of the day, I'd still be implicated in it. I could say that, but they have no reason to believe me. Why would they believe me? And so, what you're doing is sabotaging my grade for this class. You're sabotaging my continual attendance at this university, and you're just also insulting me as a person. You're saying you don't give a shit about me, or my goals, or my life, or my education, the money I paid to be here. All you care about is an easy grade, or lack thereof. You'll get a shitty grade for turning something like this in. Do you even care? This person's a year older than me, by the way. This person is a third year at this university. I'm a sophomore. How do they survive for 2 whole years without getting caught? And I'm not a narc, right? I'm not gonna snitch on this person, but I will say I hope they get caught. I wouldn't even blame a person that would blame or snitch on this person, because at the end of the day, you deserve to get caught, and you deserve to get the utmost punishment from this university, because this is just deplorable. This is disgusting behavior, and I will never respect you as a person because of this. And I know they're not gonna watch this magically, like who cares? I don't give a fuck. But genuinely, I will not forgive you ever. There's no circumstance where you think that this is okay to do for my project, for my final paper for this class. It was a huge mistake even partnering up with this person. They're lucky I even managed to sit next to them in class, because that's the only way I'd be put through hell for this, right? And I should have just found anyone else to do this with, but hindsight is 2020, I guess. But yeah, this this is just unforgivable. And they also took it. I'm gonna blame them for making me waste 40 minutes explaining this to you know whoever is still here. But it just makes me mad. It really makes me mad. And I want to say patient person, but I'm not one to get mad or angry all that much. Maybe I'll do it for like a joke, but genuinely, this boils my blood, and I'm just disappointed. And I know this class is going to end soon, or I think our class is ending exactly a week, because I'm recording this at like night time, like past midnight, and I'll be freed from this class. And it was supposed to be a pretty enjoyable. It was supposed to be my chill class actually, but sprung upon a lot of work onto my poor soul, just because doing double the work I'm supposed to be doing. If not even, okay, that's even a lie, because I'm doing like 2.5 times, because I have to eradicate all this shit and find my own new stuff to put in. So I have to fact check everything they're doing now, which takes an extra bit of time. Welcome to my life. This is great, and I have to balance a job as well with all this, as well as attending classes. Managing my relationships with people, whatever. Yeah, great stuff. Good stuff all around. I just want to get that out of the way. Um, I hope it was, a little bit enjoyable to listen to or whatever, but I wouldn't even blame anyone to get it into this point of the video. It's been kind of a long ride. Um, you cannot make this shit up. This is just, yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. Well, here's to me finishing out the semester real strong, I guess. All my other classes, this is usually my chill class. This is probably going to be the most annoying class to do ever, because I have to present with this person again for 10 minutes in class in front of a bunch of people, and I have to write the rest of this paper. Uh, oh, okay. This is the last little tidbit here. My professor, he's a great guy, but there's just some level of communication that you need to achieve with your students, or else you just come across as ignorant. Because he gave us like a schedule for like how this project is going to go and shit, but half the dates on it were wrong. Like they were just totally wrong. And so I don't even know what dates I'm supposed to believe and what I'm supposed to not believe, right? Um, which is really confusing. And he said he'd give us a little bit more time to work on this project. I don't know what that is. And so I emailed him last week asking, "Hey, do you know or do you have a due date for this project? Because it'd be nice to know in advance." Because in the past, he posted the due date on the day it was due, which is very bad. So not only is he not posted the assignment in the gradebook to be turned in advance, but like every other teacher in this school does, he doesn't respond to emails. He still hasn't responded to me, and he messed up or the schedule for this in the first place. So that's three instances of where he just didn't. There's like three fail safes that he just didn't achieve. Like he failed all three of them. And so I'm gonna get this essay done as soon as possible. But I really don't know when he wants it in. And hopefully tomorrow's a snow day. But just like this class is just out to get me. It's genuinely out to get me. But I'm tired of looking at this bum ass image. Okay, we're back to full size. Um, yeah, I hope this is just enjoyable to a certain extent. I'm gonna start writing a bit more before I go to bed, and then I'll wake up and then write a bit more. Love to be myself. Love to be this guy. Yeah, I have nothing else. I'll make some other random ass videos later, I guess. When I have the ability to edit and not cry myself to sleep each night. Sounds pretty good. Peace out. Don't let the big bugs bite. Don't. Yeah.